Moonlight Burial. I awoke to the sound of sharp rain beating against the thin glass window. Tucking a strand of hair from my face behind my ear, I reach for the cell phone under my pillow. The time is long past noon, and I feel as if I've suddenly lost all motivation for the day. Oh God, I've slept too much, I slept too much. I toss the phone aside and ponder how to spend the remaining half day of my day off. If I hadn't broken up with my boyfriend, who was a handful like a child, would I have a full schedule today? He had been saying in good humor that he couldn't live without me, but before I knew it, he had been kidnapped by a young woman from another place. When we parted, my ex-lover repeated as an excuse that it was painful for him to be with me. When I remember this, I get a burning sensation behind my eyes. I feel like an idiot. I mumble and pick myself up from the bed. There was almost no food in the refrigerator. I grab a bottle of mineral water and head for the bathroom. I brush my teeth, wash my face, and put on my contacts, even though I don't plan to go out. As I slurp the chilled water down my dry throat, I ponder what I will do today. There was nothing marked on my calendar and I was in no mood to go out with friends. I didn't want to run into him on the street just in case, but if I stayed in this room I would be suffocating, and I might call him sooner or later. I don't want that. I take off my pajamas and quickly change into appropriate clothes. Putting on only the bare minimum of makeup, I stuff my keys and wallet into my bag and leave the room to escape the gloom. As I left the apartment, I was surprised to see a large crowd of people crowding the front street. Everyone was dressed in yukata, summer kimono, and walking happily with geta, wooden clogs, clacking happily. Children wearing fox and monkey masks ran along the cobblestone pavement without umbrellas, jumping up and down. Ah, today is the Myokan festival. It is an old festival, known locally as Myokan, and apparently attracts many tourists from other places as well. I used to look forward to this festival when I was a child, but I had forgotten about it before I knew it. There was a rule that the Myokan festival was to be held on the night of the full moon in July every year. I had nothing else to do. I decided to take a little look around the festival. Many people were walking along the cobblestone alleys. The eaves of the houses on either side of the street were lined with beautiful lanterns. The colorful umbrellas of passers-by looked like hydrangeas, giving them a strange taste. Seeing them lined up on the shelves of the stalls, I couldn't help but call out to the shopkeeper, can I have one of these? Excuse me, I'd like one of these, please. The elderly street vendor nodded amiably and took a white fox mask from the shelf. Are you here alone? Yes, I am. Yes, I'm just looking for a little relief. I see. If you've had a bad day, you can come to the Hujue. Hujue, it's a ritual of Myokan-san. It is the ritual of Myokan-san. If you do so, you will gain divine virtues. In other places, they release various creatures, but Myokan-san is supposed to release only birds. I'm a local, but I didn't know that. Young people don't know anything about it. If you're not a shrine parishioner, you won't be told about it. Can anyone participate? You can go to the headquarters and sign up. It is not far if you go through the Miyanomori forest. I thanked the shopkeeper and put on a white paper fox mask. This way no one would recognize me. Fortunately, there is an old tradition of going around Myokan wearing a beast mask. Locals, from adults to children, go around the stalls wearing the masks. I turned my attention to Miyanomori. It is off the street where the stalls are located, but it is only a few minutes' walk to the shrine. I would be at the headquarters in no time. I escaped through the crowd and into a back alley. The hustle and bustle of the main street is just a little farther away. The path between Yashikicho and the Konoko waterway is called Miyanomori. Although named forest, it is actually a small stone-paved path through a bamboo grove crowded with moso bamboo. Today was the Myoken festival, and bamboo lanterns lined the side of the path, their lights swaying in the air. As I was thinking how beautiful they are, a man carrying a basket walks up to me. It was a man with a bird mask on his face. He was wearing a pitch-black yukata, summer kimono, and was very tall. I move aside to give way, but the man stops in front of me. He stared at me. It seemed to be a mask with a raven motif, lacquered black and shiny, and looked expensive. "Oh, you might be..." I was indeed surprised to hear him suddenly mention my name. When he removed the mask, a cool breeze caressed his cheeks. How did you know my name?" "When you were little, you used to come to the shrine often, didn't you? You used to give me cookies when I was little. I wonder if such a thing had ever happened. I had been playing there since I was a little girl, so my memory is a little hazy. It was a playground for neighborhood children, so it was not uncommon to have older brothers play with me. I was always told, 'I'm sorry, I don't remember. I don't remember. I was so small. I was so small. Well, I'm glad to see your face after a long time. I'm glad to see you are doing well. Oh well, how are you?' I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that." I wanted to smile vaguely and cover it up, but the words of goodbye crossed my mind. I wanted to smile vaguely and fake it, but the words of goodbye came back to my mind. "Well, there's a lot going on, isn't there? What's with the basket? Oh, this? Look inside." He gently rolled up the cloth covering the basket. There were dozens of birds with white feathers all over their bodies. "Is this a raven? White ravens are rare. These children will be working from now on. Oh, I've come to ask to be a part of it. That's great. How long has it been since I've had a youngster join us?" He started to lead me away, repeating, "I'm so glad to see you. Fat." As I vaguely followed him, I felt something strange. I see. I've already reached the age where I can find someone I like. The years go by so fast, don't they? They say light and shadow are like arrows, but they really do fly by in the blink of an eye. "Yes," he said. We have been walking for nearly 30 minutes now as he continues to chat happily with me. If my childhood memory serves me correctly, we should have arrived at the shrine by now. Besides, I wondered if this bamboo grove was this large and spacious. Across the pathway of the bamboo grove, strange stalls were lined up in a row. They seemed to be selling a variety of things, including food and old books. But all of the shopkeepers had animal masks on their faces, giving them a kind of creepy feeling. "You can't go into those stores?" "Why not?" They are deceptive, and I wouldn't do business with them." Out of the corner of our eye, a man wearing a monkey mask seemed to be having a dispute with the owner of a stall. The man looked like he was in a tight spot and was trying to get something back. "I want to get rid of them, but I can't afford them right now. I'd like to get rid of them, but I don't have the time right now." The man with the monkey face seemed to be crying as he passed by, his shoulders shaking. The lights of the bamboo lanterns flickered in the wind. I was beginning to lose my breath, but he kept walking, asking me how I was doing. "Are you all right?" "Yes, I'm fine, almost there." "Oh look, someone is already here." Suddenly the bamboo grove opens up and we are in front of a small pond. On the shore of the pond I saw a young woman in a yukata and a man with a red raven mask standing with a basket in his arms. Other than these two people, there were no other people in sight, and there was no sense of a festival in the air. I looked up at the sky and saw the white moon forming a perfect circle in the dusk sky. Hey, sorry I'm late. You're late. I thought I was going to be late. The man with the red raven mask raised his voice, then looked at me and exclaimed, "Oh, you've grown up in a while. You've grown up in a while, haven't you?" "I'm sorry, sir. I don't remember you at all. Have we met somewhere in the past?" "I've seen you many times in the precincts of the temple. Well, you wouldn't recognize me in this outfit, would you? But you've grown up, haven't you?" "I have grown up. I never thought that a child who used to play in the temple would participate in the ritual. I thought this would never happen again. It's like going back to the old days." Aside from the two of them getting excited, my eyes were glued to the woman standing beside me. A beautiful woman with black hair as shiny as raven feathers tied up on top of her head, dressed in an indigo-colored yukata. The atmosphere she wore was mysterious and breathtakingly beautiful, even to the eyes of the same sex. "Good evening. Good evening. It's a beautiful twilight, isn't it? My name is Hiragi. Nice to meet you. Are you a local?" "Yes, I am. My parents have moved away and are no longer here. I used to be a shrine parishioner here." "I see. Is this your first time participating in a Shinto ritual?" "Yes, it is. I'm ashamed to say that I did not know about Hujue until now." "Hujue?" She looked puzzled for a moment, then immediately laughed with a somewhat troubled look on her face. This is not the place for Hujue. This is a place for Shinto rituals. This is the place where the real rituals are performed, which even the priests have forgotten." "What?" "I thought this was the place for Hujue." "That's right. It is strange when you think about it. It's strange to think that there are so many people here but only 2 participants." "I thought this was the place for the Hujue," he said. "You have the right to know since they are the ones who brought you here. The priest should be in charge of this, but it seems that the current priest can't see it." He pointed to the surface of the pond, where a black, lees-like substance rose to the surface. A black, lees-like substance wriggles in the water and takes on the shape of a person. At a glance I could tell that it was something bad. If you touch it, you will be possessed. I think so instinctively, not theoretically, but instinctively. It is something horrifying, something foul. Little by little the shape becomes clearer. A human face floated and shattered. Another floated and disappeared. A deep hole fell into the mouth of the face, and a low crackling sound leaked out. A chill ran down my spine. A terrible smell distorted his face. "That's the filth that has accumulated in this land." "Oh, you mean like evil spirits?" "The defilement is something that occurs in human life, but if it is left untreated, it will bring about disasters. If left untreated, they will bring misfortune. That is why we must perform misogi to exorcise them." The surface of the pond was black as if it had melted darkness. The surface of the pond was black as if darkness had melted into it, and the bubbling water made it look like a hellish place. The jet-black mud rose and fell, as if in a bad dream. "Well, let's get started," he said. "What am I supposed to do?" "All you have to do is watch. You can only watch because you can't do misogi without someone watching you. You have a deep connection with this place, so you just have to be there. This is like a funeral, so you have someone to see you off." "Funeral. You see us through, and that's all that matters. And if you do that and remember us, we'll be happy." The person with the black raven mask said this, and they both lowered the bird cage onto the ground at the same time. The moment the cloth was removed, the cage shattered as if popping from the inside. Countless white ravens took off and swarmed towards the black stain. In no time at all, the surface of the water was filled with white ravens. Their sharp beaks pecked at the black filth, tearing it away. They are eating. It is a bird burial. I once read in a book. Birds are messengers of God. It has been believed that they take the souls of the deceased to the sky. There are many foreign countries where bird burial is still practiced today. In front of my eyes, the white ravens gradually turned black. As if they were taking on dirt, their white feathers became blotchy and blackened. Soon, all the ravens flew away at once. The surface of the pond looked purified and clean, glistening in the setting sun. Suddenly I remembered. As I turned around, the two raven-masked figures seemed to melt away. Then two large ravens soared into the twilight sky. They glanced at us for a moment, but said no more words. I reached out my hand, but it could no longer reach them. Did you remember something? Yes. When I was a little girl, two big ravens lived in the precincts of a shrine, and my friends and I would give them sweets. They were so friendly and cute. As I got older, I somehow stopped walking up to them, but they seemed to remember me. She smiled thinly and picked up a white raven feather that had fallen at her feet. May I have it? I'm sure he left it for you to receive. As I took the raven's feather, I looked at the evening moon in the lapis lazuli sky.